Welcome to Snoozecast, the podcast designed to help you fall asleep. Find us on snoozecast.com and follow us on Instagram @Snoozecast to find behind-the-scenes content. If you would like to get an email once a week with upcoming sleep stories and other news, subscribe to the Snoozeletter at snoozecast.com. This episode is dedicated to our patron Donna and brought to you by The Sweet Life. Tonight, we'll read from the Buddha's Path of Virtue, a translation of the Dhammapada by F.L. Woodward. The Dhammapada is a collection of sayings of the Buddha in verse form and one of the most widely read and best-known Buddhist scriptures. This particular translation by Woodward was published by the Theosophical Society, which was founded by Madame Helena Blavatsky. You can listen to some of her travel memoir in our episode from January 2020, titled Madame Blavatsky Visits Bombay, from the Caves and Jungles of Hindustan. Let's get cozy. Close your eyes. Relax your body into the softness of your bed. Now, take a few deep breaths. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts. It is made up of our thoughts. If a man speaks or acts with a pure thought, happiness follows him, like a shadow that never leaves him. If a man speaks or acts with an evil thought, pain follows him, as the wheel follows the foot of the ox that draws the carriage. For hatred does not cease by hatred at any time. Hatred ceases by love. This is an eternal rule. The mind. The fugitive, flickering mind, hard to guard and hard to bind. The wise men train as they choose, as a fletcher fashions a shaft to his use. Like a fish flung out on the bank, drawn from its watery home in a tank, flutters his fugitive mind to leave the realm of suffering behind. Impalpable, hard to seize, eagerly rushing wherever it please. Good is the taming of mind. A mind well tamed is a treasure to find. Invisible, subtle indeed, eagerly rushing its passion to feed. Let the wise man guard this mind. A guarded mind is a treasure to find. Wandering, dwelling apart, bodiless, there, in the cave of the heart. They who subdue this mind leave all the fetters of suffering behind. If he know not the doctrine pure, if he waver in faith and be not sure, if his mind be not strong-willed, the cup of wisdom is never fulfilled. If his mind be free from desire, if his thought be free from anger's fire, if evil and good he forsake, there is no fear in the man that's awake. Soon, soon on the earth will this body lie, a thing of no worth, neglected, void of the six workings of sense, a mere bundle of sticks. Whatever the ill that a foe doth a foe, whatever the grudge he may owe, greater by far will he find the ill that is done by an ill-trained mind. Nay, not a father or mother could do so much, not a kinsman or other. Greater by far will he find the good that is done by a well-trained mind. Flowers. Who shall discern this earth aright, and the realm of shadows in the world of light? Who shall choose out the way of righteousness well displayed? Cullings life's blossoms here and there, with his mind entangled by pleasure's delay, insatiate in desire. As a bee on the wing flits from flower to flower, not harming the scent or the blossom's hue, and is gone, taking only the taste, let the sage his way through the village pursue. Not with other men's faults and other men's failings, nor the things they have done, nor the things left undone, should the wise man be concerned. Let him look to his own. Let him look to his own things done and undone. Fair is the flower with its hue and color, but if it lack odor, its beauty is hollow. So fair are the words well spoken, but how empty the words which deeds do not follow. As one from a heap of gathered flowers makes many a garland, many a crown, so by a mortal being many a seed of good sown. The odor of flowers cannot prevail, 'gainst the wind goes the odor of saints. The odor of saints goeth everywhere. Sweet is the sandal, and sweet is the tagara, and sweet of the lily the odor faint. But of all sweet-savored things, sweetest by far is the scent of the saint. How small a thing is the odor of wood, of the sandal or jasmine, how poor is their scent. Yet the odor of saints prevails, even mongst the gods most excellent. Men who live righteously, men who live heedfully, perfect in wisdom, rebirth have transcended, though he search for the prints of their feet. Shadows cannot find them. Their journey is ended. On a heap of dirt by the high road hurled, as a lily may bloom and grow, delighting the mind with its fragrance pure, so, lit by the wisdom of those who know, mid those who on the dirt hill grow, a disciple shines out in the darkened world. Fools, long is the night to him that is waking. Long is a league to the traveler worn. Long is the coil of births. For fools that know not the truth of the path. If one find not a comrade to join him in travel, either like unto self or better than self, it is safer to push on alone. What fellowship can there be with a fool? I am father of sons, I am owner of wealth, thinks the fool in his folly, and thereat is troubled. He himself is not owner of self, much less is he owner of sons and of wealth. Wise indeed is he that knoweth his folly. Fool indeed is the fool that thinks himself wise. Though a fool in his folly sit all his life long by the side of a wise man, he never gets wiser. For he knows not the path and its worth, as the spoon never knoweth the taste of the broth. But a wise man that sits by the wise but a minute quickly learns of the path and its worth, as the tongue quickly savors the taste of the broth. Well done is the deed that brings pleasure in doing, whose fruits they will welcome with gladness and joy. If a fool long for credit that is not his due, chief seats in the monk's hall, respect from the order, and worship from laymen desiring. Let the monks and the laymen my deeds hold in honor, and in all things obey me, whatever I may will, if such things be the thoughts of the fool. His pride and his longing increase in him still. The wise. If thou see a man of wisdom, like a guide to treasure trove, pointing out thy faults and failings, follow him. Such company brings prosperity, not woe. He who gives advice in teaching and restrains thy feet from wrong, by the righteous is beloved, but the wicked love him not. Have no fellowship with evil. Make no friends among the vile. Make the virtuous thy companions. They who drink the good norm's nectar live in bliss with tranquil mind, in the path by saints expounded. Wise, take delight. Irrigators guide the water. Fletchers straighten out the shaft. Carpenters unwarp the timber. But the wise subdue themselves. As the solid rock forever rests unshaken by the wind, the wise rest unwavering, troubled not by praise or by blame. As a deep, clear pool of water lies unruffled by the wind, to the good norm listening, the wise reach tranquility. When the good go about, sensual babble is not theirs. They, when touched by pain or pleasure, show a calm, untroubled face. Not for self, and not for others do they long for sons or wealth, not for rule, nor by injustice, self-advancement to attain. Righteous, wise, and just are they. Few are they among us mortals who have reached the further shore. Over yonder, but we others on this side fare up and down. They who hold fast to the teaching of the path expounded well, they shall reach the shore and pass the realm of shadows, so hard to cross. Let the wise embrace the pure, giving up home for the homeless, loneliness, where joys are rare, let him long for bliss unbounded, casting all desire aside, owning naught, and firm in wisdom, cleanse his heart from passion's stain. They, whose mind is rightly tempered in the wisdom's 7 ways, who have left desire behind them, void of clinging, they rejoicing, passionless and all resplendent, even in this world, are freed. The worthy. He for whom life's journey's over, free from sorrow, free from pain, who has all the knots unfastened, suffering knows not again. Household life for them no joys hath, striving and intent in mind, as the swan deserts the marshes, every home they leave behind. They who gather up no treasure, feeding on the food that's known. They who range in mind the void, the unconditioned, formless space, as the bird's path in the ether, so their ways are hard to trace. He whose senses now are tranquil, like a horse by trainer tamed, like the solid ground unshaken, like the threshold of a door, like a pool by mud unsullied, such a saint is born no more. Calm the mind of such a being, calm his thoughts and words and deeds, liberated from life's needs, self-dependent, self-sufficing, knower of the uncreate, who hath loosed the bonds of action, from the chain of births set free. All desires are fallen from him, noblest of all beings. In the village or the forest, on the water or the ground, where the worthy ones are dwelling, there the earth's delights are found. Ah, delightful are the forests, where the worldling finds no joy. There the passionless find pleasure, whom the senses do not cloy. The thousands. Though one speech be 1,000 words, vain words all strung together, better a single phrase, which calms the one that hears. Though one utters 100 songs, vain words all strung together, better one verse of the path, which brings peace to the hearer. Though one conquer 1,000 times, 1,000 men in battle, who conquers self alone is best of conquerors. 'Tis better to conquer self than all this multitude. If one be self-subdued and ever self-controlled, though one for 100 years month after month, should pray with 1,000 offerings, yet if for a moment's space he worship the feet of one whose self is self-subdued, his worship is better far than his age-long offerings. Not all the sacrifice that is offered in all the world for a year with a view to gain is worth a single quarter of the worship that is paid to the upright. Whoso hath reverence for those advanced in years, 4 blessings thrive for him: life, beauty, bliss, and strength. Though one live 100 years, immoral, uncontrolled, 'tis better to live for a day, moral, and well controlled. Though one live 100 years, listless and lacking zeal, 'tis better to live for a day, while striving. Though one live 100 years, blind to the rise and fall, 'tis better to live for a day, seeing the rise and fall. The Self. Hast thou regard for self? Then keep thyself well guarded. Be wise, and keep good watch for one of the 3 watches. First, ground thyself in fitness. Next, another teach. Thus shalt thou wisdom gain, and suffer no reproach. First, carry out thyself whatever thou teachest others. Self-tamed, thou'lt tame another, but self is hard to tame. Self is the lord of self. Who else could be the lord? By taming self, one gains a lord most hard to gain. Mind thy affairs, not others, however great they may be. Right knowledge of one's own brings more prosperity. The world. Follow not the way unworthy. Live not thou in slothfulness. Let not doctrines false allure thee. Turn thy thoughts from worldliness. Stand, arise, throw it away. Follow the path of righteousness. Happy he who walks aright, here and in the world to come. As a bubble on the water, as a phantom of the sands, him who thus the world despiseth, the king cannot behold. Lo, this world, in all its splendor, like a royal car adorned, wherein many a fool is seated, hath no power to bind the wise. He who formerly was slothful, but is slothful now no more, lighteth up the world with splendor, as the moon from clouds released. He who, having once done evil, covers up his ill with good, lighteth up the world with splendor, as the moon from clouds released. Upright and norm abiding, speaking truth, who minds his own affair, this is the one whom everyone holds dear, in whom is longing for the nameless born, whose mind it hath enthralled, whose thoughts no longer are by passion torn. That man, a climber of this stream, is called, and when a dweller in some far-off land safe home returns at last, kin, friends, and lovers waiting to greet. So when one on earth good deeds hath done, when thou hast passed beyond, all good deeds like kin await that one.